Namaste, my friends. Welcome, this is Archangel. Grab a cup of joe and settle in. This is gonna be a little bit longer. Oh, yeah, so here's the thing. I really shouldn't be surprised at the infiltration of male devaluation into everything post-awakening, though I still get disappointed at the sheer infestation in every corner of the human condition, as well as its seeding into developing ideas, which will become tomorrow's paradigms of indoctrination. For instance, pop culture and the media are saturated with male devaluation, yet the spiritual community is ripe with it. Apparently, God and heaven, the afterlife, and the infinite beyond also elevate females and devalue males. So there is no respite or justice for males. If you possess a Y chromosome, suffering resultant from your inferior worth is yours for eternity by order of our higher power. You see, when a male awakens, he looks at his environment in a whole new way and sees male devaluation and disposal everywhere. He examines every philosophy or theology or societal meme in order to gauge the magnitude of this injustice. I have been wading through all various societal paradigms and contemplating the strongholds and weaknesses of gynocentrism for some time now, and I have formed rudimentary hypotheses, as most males do, hypotheses which are subject to change as new data becomes available. Thus, I came to assert that male-loving females are highly improbable, if not impossible, in today's environment of female worship. However, I speculated what conditions might be requisite to cause female care of male welfare, and I have settled on one keystone ingredient: higher belief. I find it plausible that if females rose above their instincts to live and interact from a higher moral platform, that this may be the way for females to form and turn themselves into unicorns. They would have to have such strong and ethical beliefs that no matter how hot they were or how much they were catered to and pampered by brainwashed males chasing validation through them, no matter how much she desired to use males for protection and provision, no matter what was laid at her feet, she would focus on group welfare rather than personal advancement and enrichment. Since my red pill awakening, seeing the plight and looking for solutions as most males do, thus it is a rough hypothesis of mine that if people can truly live and treat others from a place of belief greater than themselves, if they can truly live for something more than survival and procreation, that therein lies the best chance of humanity showing the male collective some semblance of caring. The realm of fervent belief in a higher power, which compels people to care for others, this is where I surmise that humans can exhibit some form of care for males. Yet, alas, it would seem that even in this realm, it is not a genuine caring. For example, rather than a female being considerate of males because she truly desires to, instead, she is considerate of males because it will affect her personally or eternally. If she mistreats males, she will either build up negative karma or be punished somehow. She would be treating others based upon the possible negative repercussions that she might suffer. So religious females show care for males because they are thinking of themselves, of their own personal eternal welfare. Still, throughout my mental gymnastics since getting my head around male devaluation, it seems that finding others that have deeply held beliefs of caring towards all beings, this might be the closest males will come to humanity that will willingly display some modicum of care for guys without using such displays of affection as barter or manipulation. Well, alrighty then. We simply find a woman with higher beliefs, right? Great! There are plenty of religious chicks out there. Whoa, not so fast. I am finding my hypothesis sounds good in theory, but does not effectively translate to 21st century Earth. Surely you can see for yourself that our societies, our corporations, our governments are broken institutions, merely money-making enterprises, and we have too much wealth and technology and shiny things flaunted in our faces everywhere, tempting us, causing us to feel like we need bigger, better, more. The fallout of this environment of wealth and technology is that we live in a constant state of lack, a constant state of discontentment, because we do not have a bigger house, a newer car, the latest smartphone or tablet, or this brand new fantabulous, super amazing shiny new gadget. Even if a few people out there really want to be caring, we are made to compete and backbite our fellow human as dog eats dog in this frenzied world where everybody competes for their piece of the pie. One crucial contributory root to all of humanity's state of brokenness is scarcity programming. As long as we live with the mindset of scarcity, that there is not enough to go around, then we will constantly war with one another and backstab in order to acquire things that we think are in short supply, whether it be money, material assets, beauty, energy, etc. Because if we truly believed that there was enough for all, then we wouldn't envy or trespass against others for what they have. We would simply go out and get our own. This may have been one of the goals of communism, to spread resource equally to all, rather than pooling it up for the elite while the masses went malnourished. However, we know that communism is simply another corrupted idea, in much the same way that anti-feminism is simply another version of male devaluation and utility usurpation. So, we humans start off with this scarcity mindset and this paradigm of dog eat dog. We start off with all this ugliness already on our plate. Then, first off, we need to understand a hot female is a hot female. There is nearly no way around it. She will have some degree of self-interested narcissism, no matter what she believes in. You see, attractive females cannot help this. By everyone acting the fool over her appearance and drooling males vying for her attention, she quickly discovers that she can have the world at her feet if she simply practices her flirtatious smiles and her sassy walking. Thus, if a female displays what appears to be caring, there is an agenda, much like these attractive anti-feminists that talk against male abuse and tell males what they want to hear. Yeah, they don't care so much about male welfare. They are after attention, praise, and utility by using a different angle. Same game, different tactics. The second thing we need to understand is that religion is not a haven of unicorns. You will observe the divorce statistics of the organized religions to be in step with the rest of the world. In some cases, religious folks lead divorce numbers. Moreover, if you truly knew the amount of religious folks who are married under the sacred union of God, yet are miserable, if you could see how many are genuinely unhappy, well, I surmise the numbers are upwards of 3/4 of the religious married population are discontented. In most cases, it's the female, because she feels trapped to this single guy, and her hypergamy is screaming to be let out of its cage. And the fact that females initiate upwards of 70 to 80% of divorces, this strongly backs my assertion. However, in many cases, it's the male who suffers. The male who is bleeding himself dry to support a family, and now gets to come home to a bride that has become a nagging, sour, passive-aggressive hag who has put on 50 pounds and stopped wanting sex, about 3 weeks after the honeymoon. And 3, no matter how strong a female's beliefs are, it is nearly impossible for females not to submit to entitlement or to use female entitlement more often than not. You don't see religious females with strong morals decrying chivalry or demanding to be included in selective service or demanding equal sentences for female criminals. Okay, well, apparently these females with their higher beliefs, they will usually love their fellow man, except when they take a break to enjoy the entitlements of being a woman like having the protection of male church members should the roof catch on fire, or if somebody needs to go outside and see what that scary noise was. So females can have their higher beliefs so long as they are pampered and coddled and treated with chivalry from males. So finding unicorns in religion? Don't bank on it. However, the opposite holds no hope either. Now, I don't adhere to atheism. There seems to be a compelling case that there is something more than we can observe with our five senses. Now, I have come to the realization that organized religion is a control mechanism that compels through fear. And it is a facet of traditionalism, which appears to be male-dominated, but really is a paradigm of a few alpha males devaluing and using the rest of the male population as drones to build and maintain society, or as pawns to war for causes that these pawns do not even believe in, nor personally represent. So traditionalism, despite its males in control visibility or its worship of male deities, it is zealously male abusive because it infantilizes females, and thus males have to labor, toil, and die for the entire world, especially for the females that they infantilize. Meanwhile, under this paradigm, the alphas that are in so-called control, they placate and are manipulated by females. They worship females and use motherhood and images of the divine feminine to rule and sway crowds, and females to support them. So under this paradigm, all is done for females and female welfare, and everything is supported upon the backs of the male pawns, the male laborers, who are abused by all. Traditionalism is very male abusive because you see, whether males placate or females manipulate, we still arrive at gynocentrism, even in such a paradigm as religion. And thus, since organized slavery, religion, is not a viable option for compelling genuine affection in humanity, hence we must look elsewhere. We have given organized religion century after century to bring about peace and love and harmony, and it has failed miserably and continues to cause strife, turmoil, prejudice, and discord. Oh no, religion is comically corrupt. So, some years ago, I dived into various New Age theologies and hypotheses. I have seen a lot of things that I like in this New Age or spiritual community, and many of the philosophies are nice and cuddly, yet I know that they do not have the answer either to what is beyond. They are fallible and tainted by human prejudices, just like every other vein of human thinking. And this is readily observable by the fact that they preach the same tired exaltation of the divine feminine, the same old tired dogma of female elevation and exaltation, and we all know what happens with female elevation. It necessarily compels male devaluation. No way around this. Think of a scale. You have two balanced equal sides. When you elevate one side, the other begins lowering. Female elevation forces male devaluation, male lowering. This is as unavoidable as gravity. You elevate females, you devalue males. No way around it. Either there is equity and equality, or one side is elevated and the other side is lowered. Now, New Age, to most, is thought as being a bunch of soft tree huggers who eat organic and attend nightly yoga classes. I would say that New Age is more a belief of unity. We are all connected in the cosmic sense, whereas traditional organized religion is predicated upon the paradigm of separation. We are separate from each other. We are separate from God. Thus, we are justified in warring with one another because of this separation, in order to prove our worth and thus be allowed to return to God's presence. Traditional religion is very structured. It's hierarchical, very much like the military. Coincidence? New Age is somewhat decentralized, with various gurus who promulgate different flavors of similar paradigms of love, forgiveness, and connection to all. Whereas religion has demonstrated itself to be biased and violent, New Age propagates tolerance and compassion. One group of folks that has found refuge in the New Age philosophies are mediums. And herein lies one thread which begins to unravel the male devaluation contained in the New Age movements. One hint that the New Age community peddles the same old prejudice is the recent phenomena of mediumship that has arisen in the last half-century. Mediums, who are more commonly referred to as psychics, or people with intuition and knowledge from beyond mortality. Psychics fall into the New Age category because organized religion would not dare touch them. They say these people are possessed by demons, because religion loses its power if the individual can be prophets by themselves or have a connection with the infinite Almighty. This cuts the need for church out altogether, since churches need people to come to them and follow this chain of command in order to get some message delivered to God. Mediumship has really taken off in the last few decades to the point where it has gone from carnival sideshow palm readings to legitimate acceptance by most of the population, used in government, military, even law enforcement. More and more people are giving credence to mediums. Now, I truly believe there are some gifted individuals that indeed have a connection to the infinite, yet I find most to be, well, let's say non-genuine. This reveals the male devaluation of New Age, as well as the rest of the world, because they say they are channeling entities from other realms. However, these entities coming through play on the female feminist victim narrative. Oh, the divine feminine has been suppressed. Females are still oppressed on your world, on your planet, in your time. Females continue to be abused in your country. And with such statements, this leaves males as the abusers, the oppressors. We are entering the age of the divine feminine. The divine feminine will save humanity, blah, blah, blah. Really? I have listened to so many psychics and watched videos or shows or read books by well-known mediums, and the female victim, male oppressor narrative keeps coming through all these New Age workers. Never have I once heard any medium mention anything about male devaluation. Okay, Oh, my guide is showing me how you use and abuse males in this time on your planet. Yeah, I have never heard a thing about male devaluation. Ho ho, but I still hear plenty about male privilege and female victimization and the glory of the divine feminine. Oh, we are entering this divine age of femininity. The divine female is expressing the divine feminine will save us all. The divine feminine, Gaia, la la la, yada yada yada. Now, it seems reasonable to assume that if there is an independent entity observing this planet, this three-dimensional realm, from a higher, expanded cosmic understanding, that they would clearly see the male devaluation and disposal going on here and the pain of countless males who are committing suicide because of male devaluation. I mean, come on. These higher, enlightened entities would be able to readily observe the very same male devaluation that is clearly evident, even to us ignorant, poop-throwing monkeys stuck on this trash heap. So when these higher, enlightened entities start talking about patriarchy and female oppression, yeah, I know the jig is up. This is simply the medium regurgitating the narrative of society, not divine inspiration from beyond. Further confidence is compromised in mediumship because most never give any type of advanced knowledge, like how to build an anti-gravity vehicle or how to harness free energy. But rather they give you the same old feel-good, peace, you are loved and guided and big things are in your future type messages, whereas others give deceased relative messages, which is a safe platform for them as these messages can neither be confirmed nor denied. Most mediums reveal nothing earth-shattering or enlightening. Again, not all are cons. I believe there are some truly gifted individuals out there. Now, some people in the New Age movement will try and make concessions and say that yes, there is a divine masculine as well as a divine feminine, and that we have both existing within us all. However, I seem to keep hearing how the masculine in males is out of whack and wreaking havoc, and thus we all need to develop the feminine within us because even males are victims of this evil runaway patriarchy. Everybody does their best to devalue males in today's world. Even these spiritual folks will try to say that we are all victims of the masculine, and so we need to invoke the feminine because, well, this is going to save us all and turn this world into a utopia. The feminine will turn everything back to the Garden of Eden, even though according to one story, it was the feminine that got us all cast out of the garden. Okay. So again, the takeaway message from all this is feminine is good, masculine is evil. This is the same message we get from the rest of this corrupted, male devaluing world. So what's the difference? What new golden horizons does spirituality offer? I am not seeing paradigms of fields of green grass and willow trees blowing with winds of equality and equity. I'm hearing the same old male devaluation. Just yesterday, I was listening to a video by a guy who appears a very likable male, and he was discussing unfriendly entities and saying the same thing. These dark entities are using strong-arming masculine tactics, and that we need to develop the feminine side within us all, because the feminine side is the loving, nurturing side. He all but announces that negative entities are male. They have a masculine feel. They use masculine tactics, and they are negative. He further states that these negative, evil masculine beings use males to abuse females. Yeah, again, the female victimization narrative. Males are oppressive, and females are maliciously abused. I have been let down time and again by somebody who was talking a good talk as far as spirituality. Then they drop the ball with some male devaluing, feminine, good, male oppressive comment. At which point I know that they are at least part charlatan, for they are mixing personal prejudice and indoctrination with their greater universal paradigm. They are using messages to further peddle discord and prejudice against males and the male collective, not peace or loving or tidings of good joy from beyond. Another guy who I have frequently listened to, which I quite enjoy, would refer to calling things she, such as Mother Earth, when referencing loving, nurturing things, and he reverted to calling things he when referencing evil agendas or nefarious beings. Now, I do not discount everything these feminine-worshipping mediums have to say, just as I do not ignore everything a male-devaluing world tells me. I simply realize that they speak from their own personal beliefs, not from divine inspiration from a higher neutral place above the petty trivialities of this dimension. In fact, you will most likely find the New Age spiritual community to be very feminine in behavior, with the male teachers or mediums acting almost gay, even though they may be straight. I have seen so much simping in the New Age community, so much prostration before females, so much placation of females, so much female ass-kissing that it nauseates me. The males in the New Age community praise and worship the divine feminine and elevate females, and the females suck up every bit of this worship and praise for their sex. I don't hear female New Agers or mediums saying, we need to elevate the divine masculine, or my guide is telling me human females are pampered, coddled, and held above responsibility for their actions, and this is counter to the spiritual growth of human females. Yeah, please. Nope, same old message. Females, good and loving. Males, bad and destructive. This is the same old devaluing propaganda pushed everywhere else in this infested world, which is so corpulent with male mistreatment. Yet spiritual females are supposed to be living from a higher place of love. Gee, I don't see any females in the spiritual community saying, we are too female worshipping and male devaluing. Yeah, nope. The females sing the same chorus that everybody else does. Praise the glorious divine feminine, for it will save us from the masculine devices of negativity or from malicious entities. Hallelujah! I mean, really think about it. Think about how we address femininity and masculinity. Anytime we address evil of any kind, we label it he, don't we? That right there proves my point. We label all things bad as male. The bad guy is a universal term to mean the villain, the antagonist. Why is it that you don't hear the term bad gal to describe the villain in movies or in everyday reality? Because females are good and males are bad. Duh. Simply look into nearly every corner of our world and you will witness the bigger male devaluing paradigm manifesting. Feminine, loving and good. Masculine, evil and oppressive. We manifest either sex as archetypes of feeling and behaviors. If you do something nice, or if you feel loving and compassionate, then you are tapping into the feminine side. And if you are mean or violent, then that is your masculine side getting out of control and wreaking havoc. The problem with these good-bad archetypes, where we demonize masculinity and elevate femininity, is that this carries over into sex and the genitalia of humans. Who do we associate as masculine and who do we see as feminine? Yeah, that's a tough one. So we carry over this worship of the feminine onto humans equipped with vaginas and uteruses. And we translate this demonization of the masculine onto humans with testicles and a penis. It's the same old male devaluation manifesting again in this enlightened arena of happiness, peace, and equality. The divine masculine is loathed in human males, and the divine feminine is worshipped in human females. Come on, how can people not see this? So we carry over this worship of feminine onto human females and this demonization of masculine onto human males. But hey, wait, hold up. Don't we all have feminine within us? So why aren't we all worshipped? Silly wabbit. No, we shame the masculine side of males into protecting and coddling the feminine side of females. And as far as everybody is concerned, the feminine side of males still needs to die protecting the masculine side of females. Yeah, how does that pretzel treat you? The masculine side of females is still died over and protected by the feminine side of males. I don't see females being demonized for their evil masculine side, and I don't see females using their masculine side to bring about discoveries and invention. I don't see any side of females rejecting the pampering, coddling, and protection that society gives them because their physical body includes a uterus. Well, come on now. Both sexes have both aspects within them. So why doesn't the masculine side of females cater to the feminine side of males? So males would be praised, elevated, and worshipped by females. Yeah, nope. Instead, we have humans with feminine sides and penises mocking themselves and saying how much better their human partner with her masculine side and vagina is compared to him, and that she is an angel for putting up with him. We have gurus with testicles who flatter females with praise and elevation. Meanwhile, we do not have mediums with ovaries decrying female worship or pointing out male devaluation. I do not observe the females of the spiritual community making female jokes and praising the males in their life for putting up with her. Oh, no. Just as with the rest of society, exaltation and worship is funneled towards females, while of course scorn and contempt is dumped onto males. Nothing new in this place, where they are supposed to be receiving inspiration from a greater source that is neither male nor female and is greater than all. Uh, yeah. All I see is that males are still burdened with being evil and oppressive because of their anatomy, and females still advertise themselves as victims of this masculinity, even as their worship and exaltation reaches unprecedented levels around the world. Ugh, it is all such a crock. It doesn't matter if you are spiritual, religious, atheist, or an agnostic chipmunk with socialist tendencies. Everything still comes down to male devaluation. Males are still squeezed for utility, then discarded. Males are still hacked up at birth, still brutalized in divorces, still killing themselves in record numbers, still shamed into elevating vagina-equipped humans to a pedestal of worship above themselves. Even though all humans have both archetypes within us, and higher spirits outside this heavy dimension should see the abuse we hurl on penis possessors, and thus they would speak of this in their messages to the host mediums. They would speak of male equity. They would tell us to stop cutting skin off of helpless boys because it is barbaric and it causes so much suffering. We would hear messages about male usury and female stagnation, that females are being held back from spiritual growth because they are held to lesser standards for their actions. In some cases, females can offend and get away without any repercussion. You see, if it was genuine, we would hear these divine, enlightened entities speak of these things rather than the same old dog and pony show, the same old tired feminist narrative of males as sharks and females as butterflies. I have spent countless hours over years upon years tearing down the box, delving into different theories, beliefs, hypotheses, and conjecture, looking to expand my thoughts. And though I have come across so many compelling ideas, I see one common thread running through all: male devaluation and female elevation. The male oppressive, female victim narrative seems to appear in everything, again and again, time after time. Now, yes, contrary abuses can be occurring at the same time. Males can be abused in certain areas, and females can be abused in certain other areas. Racism can occur to different races simultaneously. All things can happen at once. A grander, omnipotent source would not see the male abuse going on and fail to mention it. Male devaluation and disposal would not simply just slip the mind of some advanced guide or angel. It's not like they would spend the entire channeling session pushing pro-female rhetoric, and as soon as the session is over or the connection is severed and the cosmic phone has been hung up, suddenly the enlightened spirit says, "Oh, darn it, I forgot to mention the male devaluation going on down there. Shoot. Oh well, maybe I'll remember next time." Yeah, really? Okay, wait. Well, what about the male suffering, or the male suicide, or circumcision? What about animal abuse, for that matter? Yeah, whoops, enlightened entities forgot to mention these things. Oh, but they totally remembered to speak about female fragility and oppression. They sure remembered to mention the divine feminine in every other sentence. Such a joke. Obviously, religion is no better. It is just as male abusive. Neither side offers a better picture on this planet. God is not male, and he does not appoint a handful of alpha males to reign over and use regular males as tools for labor or war. Yet God is not female either. Human females are not better, and femininity is not some divine protagonist that will defend us from the evil masculine antagonist if we all simply develop our feminine side. So, where are we? Yes, you may find lots of comfort and thought-provoking stimuli in the modern spiritual community. What you won't find is respite from male devaluation. Gynocentrism has infiltrated everything in this world. Nothing is spared. Now, some may be thinking, whew, thank goodness I am a rational thinking atheist or a proponent of materialist science, where if a thing does not make itself known to my five senses, it does not exist. You see, as far as male devaluation goes, science or atheism is no better, for within these spheres, nature is the be-all and end-all. Nature is the almighty God within these paradigms, and nature is absolutely 200% gynocentric and male discarding. Nature simply uses and discards males with the coldness of an ice tray. Absolute indifference. Whereas at least secular veins of thought try to attach fairy tales and stories to their male devaluation to at least attempt to give some reason for their advertising of male discardation. I have watched countless science videos, especially physics, and I have heard time and again the brilliant male make some male devaluing comment about patriarchy, or say some placating comment to the female audience about how they're better or cleaner, or they are angels for putting up with us, disgusting, poop-throwing man-apes. I have seen time and again intelligent scientists, these talented critical thinkers, simply add some male-mocking comment to sate the females listening, or they will spout some drivel about how the wife is so much better than him and so angelic for putting up with him. So yeah, science, atheism, as well as spirituality, all are male devaluing. All various peoples and speakers will turn to male mockery to try to make some lighthearted connection with their audience. Yeah, it disgusts me seeing that these great minds kowtow to male devaluation because they are female validation addicts. And in most cases, they throw in this female ego stroking because they are simps. It has absolutely nothing to do with the quantum theories that they are discussing. Okay, so here's the thing. This is the grander picture. You see, everything, all theologies, all religions, all explanations of anything in this world is meant to answer one question. Because there is one question that sentience affords us that the entire rest of the animal kingdom does not have to grapple with. The one question that does not exist in nature. Why? Everything is meant to explain why. Why we are here. Why people act the way they do. Why we look, act, talk, think, suffer like we do. Why the earth spins. Why gum sticks to your shoe. Since we are self-aware creatures, we are made to ask what no other being in nature asks. Why? And religion, philosophy, theologies, and mythology have risen from human minds to explain the huge, gaping questions about what is happening in our environment and ultimately why things happen. Even science is a discipline meant to answer this question of why, though technically science is more about explaining the who, what, where, and when of how rain forms or momentum works. Still, science is seeking to understand the nuts and bolts details in order to understand why we have gravity or why quantum particles behave as they do. In nature, there is no why. Things simply happen, so the plants and animal kingdom merely respond without introspection. Introspection they are most likely incapable of. However, being self-aware, we are saddled with this need to know why. Though religion is a tool of controlling people through fear, it initially sprang out of our imaginations to explain the whys. To explain the purposes of life, the deeper meaning of human existence, essentially why we are here. Still, because we have always been gynocentric, thus our theologies reflect that gynocentrism. And we, in our overwhelming human arrogance, project our likeness into the cosmos and assume that the humanoid form is the highest level of life form, and thus we project our bipedal image to the heavens. This includes our genitalia. We assume that there must be a bunch of penises and vaginas running around in the cosmos and the heavens. So God must be one or the other. Yet projecting sex onto the infinite beyond and then worshiping one or the other, this is ignorantly presumptuous and wholly unfounded. This is human ego. Because we experience polarity of male and female here does not mean the universe is subjected to the same polarity. We are so ignorant and arrogant, we have no clue what is out there. Perhaps if brilliant minds had devoted themselves to space travel rather than chain themselves to feminine validation and female-assisted ejaculations throughout the years, maybe we might be up there right now exploring. Anyhow, we have religion which boasts heavenly authors and origins, meaning religious dogma comes from God. Yet you can debunk this and know that any and all philosophy came from human minds by merely observing the male devaluation within it. Devaluation which some neutral all-loving God would not proselytize. Male devaluation that perhaps only exists here on this planet of polarity and may not exist elsewhere in this infinite cosmic sea which surrounds us. Our worship of either sex swings back and forth throughout history. We can be found to be worshiping beings with penises or vaginas throughout all of recorded human history. We propose God as one sex or the other. When we project one sex's genitalia onto angelic beings and divine personas, or even sexually neutral cosmic bodies, such as the earth itself, we are thus projecting human conditions onto the neutral infinite. And this means that these are human hypotheses, human guesses on what might be out there. These are imaginings from limited minds with no concrete data, meaning that they are not confirmations from the other side. Otherwise, these answers may take on forms that humans cannot comprehend within the material brain. The way to debunk any and all theology or religion is to look for the polarity favoring within it, since God is most likely neither sex, both sexes, as well as something far beyond what our little gender-obsessed human minds can even fathom. You see, we have had an angry male god for years, and now we've been hijacked into worship of the all-benevolent female. Our theologies to explain why have switched from religion to science to hybrid veins of thought throughout history. Religion has had its day, and the human collective is becoming restless and looking elsewhere in science or spirituality for different perspectives now. Oh, we have given religion of all stripes many years to bring about the peace and righteousness each one claims to represent, and each has failed miserably. People are tired of the same old religious BS that has killed more people in the name of God rather than fed, clothed, or helped the needy throughout history. Oh, you bet. They all have plenty of excuses for their failure. Yet, at the end of the day, they all offer the same thing: strife, not utopia here on earth. We can see that religion is violent. So here comes the New Age movement, which really started at the dawn of the 20th century and can be likened to the hippie version of spirituality, juxtaposing the violence and corruption of organized religion. New Age became more of the passive, sit-in meditation crowd, the lovers, not the fighters. Where traditional religion is violent in the name of God, New Age is passive in the name of God, which is called Source, or all that is. New Age really espouses Christ's true teachings of turn the other cheek. They are the hippies of theology. Harm not others, for you only harm yourself. We are all one. Now the New Age usurped the male deity worship and replaced it with female worship. New Age is the reason we get to hear the term divine feminine as often as we do. This divine feminine is the savior now being worshipped by New Agers. Okay, so folks who were fed up with the limiting church canon attempted to rectify the abuse of religions throughout history, and they observed a few alphas in authority positions, propagating monotheistic worship of a male deity, as well as the rampant violence encouraged by this god. So these fed up folks figure it is males and masculinity that is the root of evil and corruption. So the response was the divine feminine, and that salvation was attained through females and passivity. But guess what? We have found that the feminine has not produced a better world. In fact, females behaving without restraint, aka feminism, is more crazy, angry, and potentially violent than any male paradigm throughout history. Oopsie, sorry, it appears that the divine feminine is not producing what was promised. So now we have a new paradigm emerging, which is a melding of science and spirituality, largely spurred on by informational exchange via the internet, or what many coin as conspiracy theory, which have taken off within the last 2 decades. And now a natural neutral point is forming, which includes all, science and esotericism, creationism and evolution, male and female. We are seeking to form a paradigm which includes all. Just as physicists search for the theory of everything, so too does spirituality. Moreover, the really expansive minds seek to invoke a theory of everything which includes science and spirit, thanks in large part to the internet and the exchange of information and the release of information which most will call conspiracy theories, which detail nefarious agendas going on against humanity. Now we have a reason to unite humanity under a grander purpose, since we have a common and greater foe to battle. And now we have more important things to do than warring amongst ourselves with petty trivialities such as sex or race. This truth movement retains the good versus the evil struggle of religion, while it also holds onto the unity and the we are all one of New Age, and it wholly embraces science. The truth movement is a hybrid of all theologies that we know. It is a movement to unify and fight off a greater nemesis which has been the theme of many movies and even of politician speeches, that speculate human goodwill by uniting as a species to fight off a greater foe. It's not hard to see that the deeper drama swings back and forth in our dogma. Our religion proffers good and evil, while New Age proffers all as only good. And now we have combined the two. We are connected. Indeed, we are all one on the macro scale. Yet there is good and evil on the micro scale, meaning in the big picture, we are all part of and come from the same grander source, which is neither male nor female and is pure light or love. Yet here, in this localized part of this universe, in this little isolated corner of the cosmos, some of those light beings cut themselves off from source, pretended to be separate from it, and thus began nefarious agendas against us here on earth. And so evil does exist on this plane, whereas it may very well be unknown in other areas of the cosmos. You see, all is energy or light. All is good, yet some light has twisted itself, and this is where we get polarity. Light and dark, male and female. And this is how evil came to exist, even though all hail love and light from the same source. And this light that has twisted itself into darkness, this is the fallen angel. And you can see the same old fallen angel story in every reinvention of the good versus evil story told throughout cultures and theologies since time began. All were once exalted, then a twisting and a mutation occurs, and now we have bad and good, whether in the stories of religion or the explanation of the new truthers. You can even adapt this fallen angel lore into scientific thought, where we all come from neutral substances. Then humans came along with their sentience and ego and inevitable greed, and they twist everything and create evil where only non-moral replicating cells existed before. Meaning that nature, the planet, was going along just fine, and then humans came along and brought about negativity and destruction. They were the fallen angels of nature. Now, this emerging truth paradigm attempting to explain the human question of why, I find very much about this hybrid theology quite agreeable. It seeks to unify. It seeks inclusion of everything. All science, all theologies, all people, all. It seeks to unify, whereas the other two veins cause divisions. Unless you convert to their particular flavor of dogma, then you are a member of the club, as long as you continue to pay your dues. I like the coming together of all, since a successful hypothesis to the human question of why must necessarily include all events, all mysteries, all beings, and the newer truth paradigm marked by conspiracy theories, where quantum science begins to speak the language of spirituality. I find this coming together to be closer to unification than anything hitherto created to explain this maddening thorn in the side of sentience. Why? However, I find all paradigms, all hypotheses to be still merely projections from a gynocentric human mind, because we can readily observe female elevation and male devaluation in all. First, we have traditional religion. We pretend that a male god who encourages violence is mean, throws temper tantrums, and plays favorites. So even though we worship a male god, we secretly hold animosity against him for being such a bipolar turd and allowing suffering here on earth. Moreover, just because a few alphas run the church or government does not mean male devaluation does not exist or occur every second of every day. You see, alpha is a term within a female favoring system. Alphas claim the attention and reproductive rights of females and abuse lesser males to their whims. Yet alpha is still a classification of inferior value. Alphas are still inferior in worth compared to females, since females possess wombs. Hence, alphas may seem abusive and chauvinistic. Yet, when push comes to shove, alphas are still expendable compared to females when the ship sinks. And since even traditional religions proffer females, and especially mothers, as the closest thing to God, thus they are more valuable than any male, any alpha. And guess what? Males really do not benefit at all from worshiping a male deity. They are still used for labor and protection. They are still genitally mutilated under these male-worshipping paradigms. So, traditional religion fails males. Next, we have New Age, which is the feminist version where males are wholly neutered and emasculated into female-pandering, feminine-worshipping simps who are still expected to protect and provide for the divine humans with uteruses. We have males embracing femininity under the guise of expressing the divine feminine within each of us. Yet, at the end of the day, males are still expected to do all the heavy lifting, and this New Age paradigm does nothing to address male devaluation. Males are still squeezed for utility. Society still thrives only because of male protection, provision, and toil. Nothing is any better for males under this feminist paradigm, which is supposed to oppose and remedy the male oppression of organized religion. In fact, I find that male suicide statistics really have taken off as New Age became more and more mainstream, starting in the late 60s, coincidentally right alongside feminism. And thus, New Age, just like established traditional organized religion, fails males. And now, we have this new theological hybrid of spirituality, religion, science, and conspiracy theories, and truth hypotheses. And I must admit it is quite promising. But I find that this exploding intellectual force is made up of humans. Humans who are gynocentric. And I am seeing the signs of male devaluing brainwashing seeping into this new vein of thought, just like everything else. You can't help but see female elevation within this construct of good and evil, even if it is only on a micro level. Well, yeah, guess what? The micro level is where we find our existence. So we are back to good and evil. And which sex do we associate as evil? Yep. And you can see this in people proffering the moniker he when referencing evil or describing malicious entities who use strong arming tactics such as violence and negativity, all of which have a decidedly masculine feel to them. Then I hear a lot of hypotheses that grounding ourselves to earth and trusting nature is the way to connect with our true source. And of course, what gender do we associate with both of these? Yepper, females, because it's Mother Earth and Mother Nature. Furthermore, within this truth movement, I'm hearing a lot of, we need to get out of our heads and connect with our hearts. Yeah, well, which sex do we associate as cerebral thinkers, and which sex do we associate as heart feelers? So again, we are back to salvation through mothers, females, the feminine. The masculine is evil, destructive, and the feminine is loving, nurturing, indeed the very salvation of humankind. At least with some mythologies throughout time, such as the ancient Greeks. The male and female gods were shown to be petty, jealous, and equally flawed. It was equal worship and equal denigration. Yet now the choices are an angry male god as well as a male devil on the one religious hand, and nothing but spotless female purity and salvation on the other spiritual hand. Meanwhile, science and the emerging spiritual truth hybrid offer continued female elevation and male devaluation. Nothing has changed. Thus far, the new truth paradigm also fails males. Now, I am not suggesting that any or all of these various thought pools have no uplifting tidbits here and there, nor that you should disregard them. Maybe they are all true, and maybe they are all bull. And materialism or atheism and science, these have nothing better to offer. Science or nature is just as male abusive as everything else, since science simply deems males as disposable in a very indifferent, non-feeling, sterile fashion. When species continuation is the paradigm, males are simply expendable, and that's how it is. This is all the solace that males get from the scientific veins regarding explanation of the human question of why. Science and atheism also fail males. Well, golly gee, it seems all veins of human thought regarding sex, all contemplations regarding human behaviors, all hypotheses invoked to try explaining human interpersonal relations, all attempts thus far to explain why, all fail male worth. Wow, okay, so I have waxed long in the tooth here. So what is the takeaway from all this? Well, male devaluation is inescapable. Gynocentrism is absolute. There is no escape from this male abuse. There is no fixing it. It simply gets packaged over and over in new wrapping paper. This is the game, and there is no fixing the game. We have only to turn our backs on the game. Indeed, I have tried to give various thought avenues the benefit of the doubt. And though male liberation warriors speak in generalities, we know that there are exceptions to everything. And thus I speculated that there might be promise in the spiritual community, or especially the new truth movement, which is a paradigm of spirit and science merging, where quantum physics and spirituality are coming to common ground and saying the same thing, that yes, there is something greater than what we can observe through the five senses. There is something more out there. Yet, I find male devaluation infesting all. There appears to be no forthcoming equity for males. The explanations of why are corrupted with male devaluation, and they do not lend themselves to being fixed. Hence, we can only walk away and educate other males to reality and allow them to make up their own minds. There is no respite for battered male worth in any thought form, not religion, not spirituality, not science. Male worth is doomed no matter how you slice any and all explanations of the human quandary of why. Rejecting devaluation is the only moral, ethical, and responsible response to this injustice. And coincidentally, that is exactly what we are doing here. We are the new paradigm. So, my brothers, my friends, treat all others as you would like to be treated. Yet, do not put up with injustice. Stand with me, live free.